No, I'll call her in an hour.
Oh, as Jerry's getting a call from his mom. Doesn't your mom know we're going live? We are live here on another episode of the Calcio Connection, connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. Just six guys who are tired of the international break. We want the Serie A to come back. We want club football to come back. Now, it doesn't really help the international break that Italy had been playing like they have a Euro 2020 hangover, which is fine when you win the entire thing. You can be a little bit lackluster in the next international break. Alex Donno, alongside, as always, let me introduce my co-host before we introduce our guests. I don't know, why is it looking so somber there, Jerry? Like, am I in an interrogation room or something? Well, you got the light shining on me. It's super dark back there. Are you upset today? Jerry Mancini is with us here, of course. Oh, see that? Jerry, shine it at your face, not at the camera, and then we're good.
Is that better?
Not better at all. I mean,
how's that?
I guess it's better than before, I guess.
I don't fucking know, man. It's because it's dark in this room. This light, for some reason, it's like, I don't know. Whatever, man. Hello. Get out of here, Mario.
Yeah, we already got Mario.
Jorge Mendes.
Ronaldo's agent is with us now. Jerry coming to you live from a cave.
From a cave.
So Jerry, before we get into, we got a lot of Serie A matches coming up this weekend. Inter and Roma don't really have big matches, but Lazio and Milan play each other, which is huge. You got Juventus Napoli this weekend, which is gigantic. So it's a big Serie A weekend. This is going to be a really good one. But Jerry, before we get into the club competitions returning this weekend, can you explain to all of us why your guy Ciro still can't perform for the national team? I thought he was now a 4-3-3 merchant. Like, he's looked really good under Sarri for the first couple of weeks of the season, good in preseason, and I'm still not seeing him do it for Mancini. What's going on?
I think he just lost all confidence. I think he's done. He's just too much pressure. He's overthinking. When he doesn't have to overthink, he does. Like, it's just a combination. Look where he scuffs that shot like freaking like a NFL kicker, and he boots it right over the net, man, like way into the field. Like, and then when he has to make a simple pass, he can't. His confidence is ruined. Now watch this weekend when he plays Milan. Probably ends up scoring a goal because he's got no pressure. It's not a freaking like top 4 team. I'll be honest. There's no pressure at Lazio. It's just a perfect club for him that allows him to play his game, play to his ability, and that's it. It's unfortunate that it's gotten to this. I didn't think he was bad in the Euros. I'll be honest.
No, it didn't score enough, but he wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad without the ball. Like, he did other things. He pressures. He draws people towards him. He opens up players. He creates things. In the last 2 games, I didn't see nothing. The game against Bulgaria, I think he 6 passes to, like, I don't know who the fuck he was passing to, like no man's land. Let's just be honest. Shanking passes, looking lost like a puppy, running around, and I can only use the excuse of the 4-3-3 doesn't work for so long, and the fact that I see people saying that we need to play to the way Immobile plays. To a certain degree, I agree with that. Like, give him the pass when he makes the run. I think that's the only thing that bothers me. But overall, like, you still need to know what you're doing. I don't get how he played so well in the first 2 games for Lazio in a 4-3-3, was moving perfect in the right spots. And then when it comes to Italy, like, he just doesn't know where to be. The chemistry can't be the same excuse anymore because he's been playing with the same guys for 20 games now. So that becomes a nuisance. Like, it's just a comment that you can only get to so long. I don't know, man. Like, I know Mario was saying go to fucking Belotti. Fuck him too. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't think he would do any better. Honestly,
fuck Belotti. Fuck him. He
wouldn't do any better.
Immobile. I'm gonna go with Lucci when he said this offline. You go to Scamacca. You go to Keane.
Give him a chance.
Give somebody a chance who you haven't seen yet. We've seen what we can do with Belotti. It doesn't work any better. Give somebody else a chance. Go to Zaniolo. Try a false 9 with him. See if that works. If it doesn't work, then you go back to plan A, and you hope that maybe you give Immobile some time off. Maybe he's tired because I'm not using this as an excuse, and it goes for a lot of players. Maybe he's just mentally drained, physically drained for how much he's played between international play to club league play. These guys, let's remember, they played the Euros. They get like 2 weeks off, and then you got to go right back to preseason training. You got to train for your league. You go into a season. You're right back to Euros. I mean, to qualify again. You're going to go back to the league this weekend. You're going to go back to now Nations League. And I know it's not, it goes for all players, but I think it takes a toll on everybody. No one has looked good the last 2 games. Let's be realistic here. Other than Locatelli yesterday, and I know Lucci's liked Chiesa off the bench. I was 50-50 with him. I think everyone as a whole was whatever. Like for me, I just think Locatelli was the best player, and that was it. Chiesa did that nice spurts. I get that he got that play there, but overall, I didn't see enough from everybody other than Locatelli. Against Bulgaria, everybody fucking sucked. Let's be honest there. Like so I like to hear what you guys say. I'm done talking because I can keep on going, but there's no
interrogation light. I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
There's no Immobile bias from me here. I
can tell. I know, and I respect that because I see some other Laziali making excuses for the guy left and right. But it's like, dude, like the fact that he's struggling with the national team, it doesn't take away anything from what he does at Lazio. Like you can just admit he's struggling. But listen, for as bad of an international break as Immobile is having, he's having a better break than Weston McKennie. I mean, and I'm starting to see the rumors for why this guy, was, why he was sent home violating quarantine. I saw a rumor about him crashing a bachelorette party that came from the LA Times. So, it's pretty wild.
I want to give a shout to Monica, and she said a good point. I get that it was nothing bad what McKennie did. Like it's just he had no mask on. But at the end of the day,
well, hold on though, no, but because but what really happened though? Because I saw people putting this picture saying, "Oh, he got suspended for like taking a picture with a fan with no mask." But I think that was bullshit. I don't think that's why he got suspended. I think he got suspended because he went to a party and partied all night. I think that was the real story. Yeah, no, the thing about, because I saw this thing online about, him quote unquote breaking protocol was like taking a picture with a fan with no mask on, but that wasn't the real story. Like this LA Times thing came out and Landon Donovan was on Grant Wall's podcast today and he didn't like reveal what it was, but he said, I know what it is and it was really bad and like I'm embarrassed for him. So it was like, I think he went to a party supposedly. But let me introduce the panel and then we're going to go around on Serie A. I want to introduce Anthony first because I know Anthony, he is on call. So in case he gets called into work or anything, I want to make sure this man gets to say his piece. He joins us from Australia. How you doing, sir?
Good, Alex. Thanks for having me. Jerry, always a pleasure. Lovely to see such a good-looking panel. Looking forward to speaking Calcio, man. How you doing, Alex?
Well, clearly your screen is not working if you think this is a good-looking panel. Although there is, we do have a couple of handsome gentlemen all the way to the right. And let me introduce the manliest jawline you will find on Calcio Twitter. In fact, I want everybody to vote for our guy, Daniel Lucci, because Jerry put out a poll, the battle of the jaws. Who has the more divine jaw? Is it Azzurri fan Phil or Daniel Lucci? And Luch, I'm sure you have a tab open on the results because the last I checked was at least a half hour ago. You're clinging to a 51% lead. Are you still in the lead? Everyone go to Jerry's Twitter timeline and vote for Lucci.
Thanks for the support, Alex. Last time I checked, I think it was up by a couple of percent, but I don't know. Jerry's probably wants me to lose on this one, just like he wants Juve to lose all the time. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It's been a while, but looking forward to talk some Calcio.
Yeah, we got some big games coming up, and one of those big games, it's going to pit Miguel AJ against Jerry Mancini because we have Lazio Milan this weekend. So let's introduce one of our favorite Milanisti. I'm actually pointing in the right direction. I'm proud of myself. Usually I get it all backwards. Miguel AJ is with us. Miguel, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm happy that not many Milanisti are away for international break, so we don't have to worry about an injury. So I'm feeling good, honestly.
I love it. We got Mass on, our favorite Romanista, joining us. Mass, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you, Alex? Thanks for having me back on.
Of course, it's my pleasure. And Miguel mentioned international duty. Like I want to ask you, Anthony, because you probably know this. What's the deal with like the players who are over in South America? Like, are Inter not going to have any of Lautaro, Correa? I'm guessing Vidal with Chile. Alexis was injured anyway. So, like, are none of these guys, because of the travel and the COVID restrictions, are none of these guys going to be back this weekend?
Yeah, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. Don't ever bank on South America doing things properly, because they've just basically ruined everything for the rest of people.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see that Brazil-Argentina match where they're
man.
deporting people 5 minutes into the match for breaking COVID protocol.
You couldn't do this at the border, at the hotel, at breakfast in the morning, at the tour bus on the way, in the dressing room, in the tunnel. Nah, you had to do it 6.5 minutes after kickoff, to the point where even the Brazilian players led by Neymar were like, man, if they're going to walk, we'll walk as well. Humanitarianism and logic prevails in this situation right here. In terms of Inter getting their players back, or anybody in Serie A getting their players back, I think it will be at the discretion of how many hours they arrive. And looking at it at the moment, it doesn't look like they're going to arrive tomorrow. I could stand corrected on that, but unless they do arrive quickly, I'm inclined to think most of the South American players are going to miss match day 3 in Serie A, and that's not just my opinion. That's what I think everybody in Italy will do to cover their own asses as well, in order to prevent basically a full-scale breakout or full-scale repercussions from a logistical point of view. Either way, it's not a good look. And I think we're going to see more of this season. Just because it's happening now doesn't mean it'll be the only time. I'm prepared for many disruptions this season, man, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating, because in most of like the projected and it's obviously very early in the week, but in most of the projections for what Inter's squad is going to look like on Sunday against Samp, most of them have the way Inter open up the season with Dzeko up front and Sensi playing behind him. And I've seen even some that try to say Satriano might start. You know, he's Uruguayan, but he's not with the national team, so he would be available to Inter. But pretty much everyone seems to be in agreement that you will not expect Lautaro or Correa back from international duty with Argentina in this one. But we'll get to that. Inter Samp is not our priority, because we have bigger fish to fry this coming weekend. I want to go chronologically, and we do not have a Napoli supporter on this panel, but we do have our favorite Juventino with the divine jawline. We have Daniel Lucci. And on Saturday, Lucci, it'll be a noon game, you know, for us in the States. It'll be 6 p.m. Italian time. Juventus taking on Napoli. Obviously for Juve, this is go time, man. I mean, you guys dropped points in a couple of games that were very winnable on paper. Now you've got a tough matchup. You got to go down in Naples to get this one. Do you think we're going to get a better version of Juve? This is not officially a must win, but we're getting into that territory, Luch.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely get a better performance. I think Allegri will want to have these guys fired up, especially after the international break. My main concern is, you know, some of the players might not be available, especially the South Americans, Dybala, Bentancur, you know, maybe if Cuadrado, another one. So, and who knows what's going to happen with McKennie now? He might get himself suspended for doing, you know, not some very, you know, adult-like smart decisions. So that's a whole other story. Who knows what to believe there? But it's definitely going to be tough. You know, Napoli's going to want to win. There's no doubt about that. And it's almost a must win. You know, I know it's only 3 games in, but you can't go, you know, a tie and a loss and then, you know, take another loss. It's not going to look good on the table, that's for sure.
What has been to you in these first 2 matches? It was a draw with Udinese on the road, a pretty surprising 1-0 loss at home to Empoli for the second one. What's been the biggest thing that's lacking? Now, I know CR7 did leave between the first match day and the second match day. I don't know how high up there you list that on the priorities of things that didn't go right, not having him available against Empoli, but what have been the big things to you that Juve have been lacking so far?
Well, to start off on the CR7, it's about time, you know, see you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Obviously the way he handled that whole situation was kind of, you know, not very professional in my eyes, but whatever, you do what you got to do for your career. It's totally understandable. But, you know, it just looks like the team they're not all on the same page right now. I don't know if Allegri's trying to instill something that he wants that's different from last season, but it just looks like, you know, the organization, you know, the chemistry is not there right now. Maybe that's going to take some time to recreate. That's understandable, but you can't be taking, you know, losses left, right, and center, because, you know, soon enough you're going to be too far down the table where you're not going to be able to catch up. I do think, the likes of Chiesa and Keane and Locatelli are going to have, going to be Juventus's main, players going forward. Hopefully Dybala can do something as well. But Napoli's definitely not going to be easy, but it's definitely doable, no doubt.
Do you have something, Anthony?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Just on Dybala, Daniel, man, what's the furthest you'd go in terms of his contract? Is 12 mil absolutely taking the piss? I know 8 mil. I know the Juventus are ready to give 8. It's serious because I know Daniel will give me the most accurate answer possible.
Yeah.
For me, man, 12 is taking the absolute piss, bro.
I agree. I think, from what I'm reading now, they're offering him 8.5 plus, I think, 1.5 in bonuses to equal 10, which I think is more than fair. Last season we saw he was hardly available with injuries. Sometimes when he is available, he's not at his best. But when he is on, he's one of the best players in Serie A. There's no doubt about it. But we see that too, not nearly enough. And I think now that we're seeing, with Allegri first and then Sarri and then Pirlo, now Allegri again, each coach is having an issue on where to play him and where to find out his best position is. So if you're that good, you should be able to play no matter where you are on the pitch. You have the skill, you have the talent. If you can stay healthy, you should be able to perform no matter what. And, for 12 million, I just don't see him, being worth that much. Although, there's been crazier contracts given out at Juventus. So it's tough to say, but me personally, I wouldn't give him more than 10. I think that's a fair offer.
Luch, I got one more question for you. Then I want to go around the table for predictions for Napoli, Juve. Because I started off the bat, Jerry and I were talking a little bit about, why Weston McKennie was sent home. And Nick Knox was asking about this. What have you heard? Did you hear the same thing I did about him partying? Do you think that's an unfounded rumor, or is that kind of the consensus?
So it seems to be a couple mixed rumors. I know you mentioned Landon Donovan, and some people are saying he might not be the most accurate source to listen to, but apparently, according to Landon, he was out doing some things he shouldn't be doing, and he didn't want to get into full details about that. But Landon was saying, I've done some crazy things in my career, but I would never do something like this, and blah, blah, blah. So who knows what it could be? I know there was a picture circulating of him coming off the bus, signing autographs for fans without a mask. And that was apparently what the issue was. But from what it sounds like, it's a lot more than that. And now he's on his way back to Italy. So we'll see. I'm sure Allegri and the Juventus management's going to get a full story of what actually happened. And then they're going to decide if, further actions are needed. But again, this is not the first time he's done something childish, I guess you want to say, or unprofessional. Had that party last season with Dybala and Artur. So it kind of questions where his head's at. You want to be a professional footballer, but you also got to act like one. You can't be doing things, especially during a pandemic, during COVID. You can't be doing things like that. You got to look out for yourself, look out for your teammates. It just seems unnecessary.
Yeah, especially for a guy who's already got a strike. I mean, he was suspended last season, like you said, for having that party. So you would think that he would really be minding his P's and Q's after that. So it's disappointing. It is. But
it is.
I want to go around the table because this is obviously a massive game. Juventus at Napoli. And like Lucci said, we'll find out more throughout the week about whether we can expect any of Juve's South Americans or not. Victor Osimhen still suspended for that red card in match day 1. So both teams are going to be without some firepower. I'm expecting Juve to play better than they have. Napoli did not impress me too much in their last match, needing that last gasp header from Petagna to take 3 points. I'm thinking draw for this one, and it feels like a little bit of a cop-out, but I do think it's going to be a good performance from both sides. So I don't think this is going to be like a Biscotto 0-0 or a poor performance. I think both teams are going to bring it, but I'm expecting a 1-1 draw here. I'll go around the table. Mass, what do you expect from Juventus at Napoli? Who do you think is going to take this?
I managed to watch both games that they've played so far, Napoli and Juve, and I'm going with the 0-0 draw. I think, especially that they're lacking the firepower with the South Americans maybe not being able to be fielded. I think it's going to be either a 0-0 or like someone's going to squeak away with like a 1-0 really garbage time goal.
Fair enough. What about you, Miguel? What are you expecting from Napoli hosting Juve?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. I could see a potential draw or like even a 2-1, 1-0 win. It's not going to be something that's, very dominant in my opinion, especially with both sides like not having any firepower, especially without having Osimhen up front. He can't really terrorize Juve's defense because Juve's defense is pretty old. So that pace, gives Napoli that extra edge on them. But I think that this is going to be an interesting one, especially with Juve not having a single win since the Serie A season started. So, Allegri's going to try to fire out the boys and bring all the firepower that he can to bring home a win, but it's going to be a very difficult game for them.
Well said. What about you, Anthony?
If Dybala was playing, I'd say Juve win 3-0 or 3-1 because this is the type of Dybala game where he comes out and tells the world that he's worth double digits and then almost goes missing again for a few months. But that being said, I love Spalletti, but the man's got 3 or 4 wins against Juve and 20 losses, bro. There's no coach better at losing to Juventus, even when they don't deserve to lose to Juventus than Spalletti. I do see Allegri and Chiellini almost locking that locker room door, saying, "Don't come back in here without a positive result." And that's what I think is going to get Juventus over the line. Their mentality to push through, whereas Napoli's still going to lack some of that against bigger sides this season. I'm going to go Juventus 2-1. And they are clearly the better side on the day, in my opinion.
Jerry, do you agree? Who do you see coming out on top? Napoli, Juventus?
Who gives a shit?
I knew that was coming at some point.
Shit,
we'll get to Lazio Milan. Don't you worry.
I'm just so mad at that comment before, man. I'm so fucking mad. And he follows you, too. That piece.
Do you want to tell people what happened? Or if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine.
How am I a racist, man? I
posted, somebody called Jerry a racist on Twitter.
Context.
Completely out of the it's and all Jerry, all you did, because I saw your tweet, you referred to Weston McKennie as a mediocre midfielder, and somebody called you a racist. It's you shouldn't even entertain that, Jerry. It's so ridiculous.
I hate it because I get it. I get it's Twitter, and I shouldn't care about these people. Well, when it's stuff like that, man, it's just a bad perception because then it makes people think, and people are very easy to be manipulated when it comes to social media. Get your facts straight, man. I hate when people have to jump to conclusion. I hate Black Americans. Where did my tweet say that? I'm very open and I don't shy away from anybody on Twitter. I don't hide behind a screen. And the one person who did like it, I'm not surprised either, but fucking chooch of a Black Johnny. But anyways, and I'm not scared to say it. I told you, I am not scared to call out people when I have to. Anybody who likes that, it's pretty sad because get your facts straight before you can make false accusations. In regards to Napoli Juventus, I didn't know that Napoli lost 5-1 today to Benevento. Fucking that is
it was a friendly they called in the middle of an international break, but it's still shocking. When I saw the official, because I didn't know that game was happening. So when I saw the official Napoli account tweet out Napoli won, Benevento 5, I'm like, wait, what? Why did they even play this game? What was the occasion?
I'll go with Juventus.
Bizarre.
I'll say Juventus beats Napoli only for one reason. I think that playing a top 5 team, top 4 team like the Napoli side will really get Juventus going. It'll take them to another level and play more aggressive, not play to their strength of their opponents like an Empoli say, where they play to that kind of caliber and they let their guard down. Don't write off this Juventus side that quickly. 22 games. Just I bantered the last week and a half, Lazio being first and everything. It's been nice while it lasted. It ain't gonna last that long with Lazio. Let's be realistic. So, like I said to every Lazio fan, embrace it, enjoy it, use it to your advantage while you can, because it ain't gonna be there forever. At the end of the day, I see Inter being on top. Well, we'll talk about our standings and everything later, but at the end of the day, Juventus will figure it out against Napoli. I think that this is a Napoli side who kind of looks a little sluggish to me. I'm not convinced with them 100%. I know it's just Genoa, but Genoa really played them really well on Sunday, and I thought they should have won that match, in my opinion. But again, should have, could have, would have. At the end of the day, Napoli figured a way to win. Too. But at the end of the day, that's it. I like Juventus. I think that they'll come prepared and they'll be ready. I'm curious to see if Chiesa is fit to start. He'll probably come off the bench. You got Bernardeschi. It's okay. your saving grace, but
Chiesa,
No.
sorry to interrupt. Chiesa should be starting with the number 7 shirt on every single game.
95%.
You want to restore pride in this club, you go and give it to the player who, let's face it, if he was at another club like a Barca Madrid or in the Premier League, people would be calling him the most informed winger
my
in
God.
the world.
No,
Can
no,
you
no,
imagine?
no.
Can you imagine if he was Brazilian? If he
Yeah.
was Brazilian, how hyped he would be.
People that
Yeah,
probably
Real
would have called him
Madrid
that
right now already.
Yeah.
3-4 years ago at Juve, he probably would have been called one of the best in the world, but people will always look at the stature of the club where they are in context at that particular time, not necessarily the player. But I say you want to restore faith, Jerry, man. You give Chiesa that number 7. That's the real way forward for Juve.
No. And I get that. I'm just saying, I don't know if he's fully fit to start Sunday. Like
Yeah.
that's why he came off the bench on yesterday. And like this is where I come back, where the international players that they're risking players who are not fully fit to play. Look at Roma. In a way, I feel bad for Roma because I wouldn't want to be in their situation. They lost Gianluca Mancini. Florenzi and the Pellegrini was sent home today because why do you get sent home? You don't just.
It was precautionary.
Injury,
It was
yeah.
a light injury. It's just for precautionary reasons. But
There you go,
Vinia,
though.
too.
But what about if that became more serious? Then what? What about they risked it because they needed him? What do you do then?
No,
You
they
know what I
wouldn't
mean?
do that.
Yeah, these fucking guys don't give a shit, man. They play. These guys want to play for their country too.
Exactly. It comes down to them at the end of the day. They actually have a choice.
Man. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want Lazio to lose Immobile for fucking club play. I'm club before country. I don't give a shit if Italy wins or loses. I like Lazio first. I like Italy second. Before I got back into football, I was a country first, clubs second. Now it's so reversed that I'm so invested into my club. I want to see my club being 100% ready to go. So I see Jerry still pissed about Filo Costa. No, I don't give a shit about Kostic. Our fucking management. You got Roma who has a bonsai tree dead, and you got hold on, and then you got Lazio who can't even spell Frankfurt right.
They're still waiting for a response from Frankfurt. They're still waiting for that email back.
What team's more stupid? One or the other? They're both dumb in their own ways. Fucking.
Well, let me. I don't know why. Hopefully Miguel gets back in. I don't know why we lost Miguel. But Lucci, you're the last one for a prediction anyway. I'm giving you the last word since you have a vested interest in this match. We do not. Napoli hosting Juventus. What happens? Your prediction?
I thought Ant and Jerry both brought up some great points. I think this is going to be a good, or hopefully a statement match from Allegri and Juventus going into Napoli. And I have noticed over the years that Juventus seem to play to their opponent's level. Like with Empoli, they were, sleepwalking through that one. Udinese, after they went up 2-0, they fell asleep. So I think they're going to want to go into Naples and really show that they still mean business. Chiesa against Mario Rui should be a kill on Mario Rui every day of the week. So I'd like to see that matchup. And I think even if Dybala's not ready, you have Keane who can hopefully give you some minutes and show that, he's back where he wants to be. And, you have other players off the bench that can make a difference. Napoli, without Meret and maybe Ospina might still be hurt. Osimhen's a huge loss for them. So I think, firepower, we should be able to, hold them and we should be able to score some. They're definitely beatable at the back end. So, the chances will come. You just got to make sure you bury them and you play hard. I think Locatelli starts this one too. He has to. The first 2 games, him coming off the bench, sure, he came in late. That's fine. But now we mean business, and now he needs to play practically all the time. So I'm hoping for a 2-1 win.
Well, we're on this Juventus Napoli. Let me ask you the question since we brought up Weston McKennie. Is he an overrated player? Like, do you guys rate him, or I think he's fucking dog shit, to be honest. I don't think
it depends.
I don't like
by overrated. Like, how do you rate him? I think he's a solid depth option. I don't think he's a starter in Serie A. I don't think he's a Juventus starter quality, absolutely. But I think he could be someone that comes in off the bench with, 25, 30 minutes that can come in and run and play like a Sami Khedira type of role that's going to, sit back, hold the ball, win back the ball, press, things like that. But no, he's definitely not the most talented. He's definitely doesn't have the most pace, but if you need a depth option in the midfield, sure, I'm fine with that. But
He's overrated
He's a
where I
water
come
boy.
from. He's overrated because he's American, like at least
Yes.
among Americans. And it's funny, like Miguel has probably noticed this too. So the service where we watch Serie A matches this year, it's the same service that had Champions League last year and still does. It's Paramount Plus. And every time like you watch a Serie A match on there, they have like the Serie A poster, and front and center on the poster is Weston McKennie. So it's like force feeding the American audience as if he's the best player in Serie A. Now, I do get it. You have fewer to choose from with CR7 having left the league and Donnarumma having left the league and Lukaku having left the league, that you don't have as many like possible poster guys, but still like they have Weston McKennie for the American audience front and center on the poster. So it's like force feeding him to the locals. So listen, I think he is, I don't know if he's as overrated in like Canada and Australia as he is in the United States, but I definitely think he's an overrated player in parts of the world.
Yeah, I just don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. Like,
Can I add something to
no,
that? I
no.
think Juve's midfield has been hacked to bits the last few seasons, to the point where, like, how are you even supposed to get the best out of him when no one compliments him in that midfield? And as soon as someone compliments someone, they're either injured or they get rotated out for like 3 or 4 games in a row. Look at the dip in quality in their midfield from the whole Pirlo, Vidal, Marchesi, or Pogba situation. And this is what I was saying, even though for the wage you're going to play him, if you get someone like Pjanic, yeah, the books aren't going to compliment it, but watch what happens to that midfield and the players around Pjanic if you get him into that starting lineup, just to free up a little bit of creativity and technical ability. I think we're very harsh on Weston McKennie. I see why people think he's overrated, but I think he's being asked to do a little bit too much, and his attitude shows he's probably not right for the first team.
He's a good complementary player, like Anthony is saying. Yeah. He's not a focal point in your midfield. He's not a superstar, but he could definitely be a good complementary player. Absolutely.
I mean, is it fair to say that
Who is
Lucci,
this
like,
guy? Who is this not Biggie guy?
He's a legend, man. He comes on my channel all the time.
I like
man,
him.
in my chat. He offers good value.
Hack Pro greater than McKinney? They're bullshit, but anyways.
No, but Lucci, is it fair? Like, would you describe Weston McKennie as like maybe like a more polished version of Blaise Matuidi, like who provides similar attributes, but is probably a little bit better than he was?
He's probably a little better in front of goal, like offensively, than Matuidi was, but yeah, I would think that's a good comparable player. You know, they both can press well. They're both, you know, fairly, you know, agile, I guess,
and hardworking, both of them.
Yeah. You know, like I think that's a pretty fair comparison. You know, obviously not the most, either of them are the most talented, but you know, they'll try when they're on the pitch. They'll give you what they got, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I want to move on to Sunday, and you know, before we get into, we'll get into later Sampdoria, Inter, and Roma, Sassuolo, but we'll start with the bigger match first because Sunday is going to be awesome. You got two of the 5 remaining undefeateds going head to head, so somebody's unblemished record is going to go whether someone wins or draws. So this is a big one. I'm going to let Miguel speak first on behalf of Milan. Milan off to a very nice start. You know, they haven't had the toughest competition yet, which you can say for most of the bigger sides in Serie A. So what are you expecting, Miguel? Obviously, Pioli and company off to a really good start so far this season. Who has stood out to you in a positive way? And what are you expecting to happen against Lazio?
Yeah, I think we had a spectacular start to the season. I will say, you know, even though we haven't played against the toughest opponents, we've played really well in the last couple of matches. So I think if we can continue on what we did, and this is exactly where we were last season. We started off well. We had 2 good games, and then we went into match day 3. We played Inter, and we kicked their ass. So once again, it's kind of
got you in the rematch, my friend.
That's true. You did. But those 3 points came in super handy for us at the end of the season. So it's kind of the same situation as last season. So, you know, going into this big game against Lazio, you know, Lazio have a new coach in Maurizio Sarri. I think that for this game, Milan just have to play to their strengths. We beat Napoli at the Sao Paulo before. I mean, we beat, what do you call it? We beat
Lazio at the Olimpico.
At the Olimpico. And they came back and they haunted us, and we had a really bad game the last time we played them. So what we need to do this game is really just focus on controlling the midfield. If we can control the midfield in this game, I think that we can come away with the result. Now, the biggest takeaway for the game upcoming is that we don't have Olivier Giroud, who caught COVID-19, so he'll be out. he's been a great focal point for the team. If you look at some of the passing that he's been doing, some of the hold-up play that he's been doing in the last couple of games, they've been absolutely immense. I think that Giroud, Leao, and Brahim Diaz have had this kind of in-sync chemistry on the offensive third in the final third, just making that fast 1-2 go switch where somebody just runs into the box, cuts in, and takes a shot. That's been absolutely amazing. And that's really going to be missed in the game against Lazio. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic is coming back. So I think that with Zlatan back in there, they can continue to pick up where they've already started pretty good, and they can continue. I need Theo Hernandez to come up big in this game, and I need Sandro Tonali to put in another great performance as he did last week.
Yeah, well said. Jerry, want to get your angle on this match. And I don't know if I was specific enough when I brought it up. The game, it's going to be home for Milan. It's going to be at the San Siro. Jerry is our resident Laziale. He represents that club very well. What are you expecting? It's like Milan, Lazio are off to a great start. They're scoring goals for fun under Sarri. Is the fun run going to continue?
Yeah, it's nice when you can play fucking Empoli and Spezia every week. I wish we could play them 20 more times.
Well, hold on. Don't tell the Juventino about playing Empoli.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Beating Empoli is not for everybody. I forgot. But
okay, when we beat Lazio, that's all that matters, my friend. Remember, Adrian Rabiot scored.
I don't know, man. I think it's coincidence that Lazio plays Juventus on my dad's birthday, November 20. Like, I don't understand if that's just like a hypothetical theory that it's a sign or something. I might have to go bet on this.
Your dad's an Inter fan, though. What does that have to do with
Inter, Juve? Don't like each other. Spite. The fuck out of here.
Yeah, maybe your dad will bring us good luck.
Yeah, no, my dad thinks you guys freaking pay refs. He's even said it to me. I need to get him on
still
video.
Living in the 70s, then.
Oh, my dad.
You mean living in like 2006s? Is what you mean?
Yeah, my dad. The best was last season. We watched Hellas Verona versus Juventus, and Juventus came back, and he's like, "Yeah, the refs, buddy, the refs. Don't worry." But for Lazio, I think they're gonna lose. So I'll give you my prediction right off the bat.
Ooh.
They're gonna lose 2-1. I say. I think Milan's gonna win, and I don't think it's Zlatan that really makes an impact in this game because he hasn't played for who knows how long. I'm curious to see what his fitness level is like. How he kind of gets in. I think he's gonna kind of be rusty in this game where he's not gonna have that rhythm, that kind of step. Olivier Giroud, if he's not playing on Sunday, I'm guessing he's out of the lineup because of coronavirus and he's still quarantined. That's a massive loss compared to Zlatan. But I think overall, this team, remember, it's in their third season, second full season under Pioli. They got an identity. They understand the formation. They guys like Davide Calabria who are embracing a bigger role and really taking on more this season. I think that he's been their best player in the first two games overall. Maybe Miguel might think different and he may think Giroud's their best player. I just think that from a playing standpoint, Calabria has really become maybe one of the best right backs in Serie A. And had he not been injured last year, he would have been the starting player for the Azzurri. For me, though, maybe some people would think different. But for Lazio, this is their biggest test of the season. It kind of gives a good benchmark of where do they stand. Can they compete with the bigger teams under Sarri at this point? Or is there a big work in progress? Like in the first two games, we conceded a goal within the first 4 minutes, which kind of concerns me and that's like the only chance that we really gave up in a whole match where and the response was good by Lazio where they came back, scored 3 goals against Empoli, scored 6 goals against Spezia. But that's not going to be the same case with Milan where they got a better back line, they got a good defense, they got depth, they got good forwards up front. It's a well-rounded squad. For Lazio, do they show better form, better shape? Do they start to show a little bit of a better understanding of what Sarri wants? And the last thing is we've only beaten Milan once in the last 30 plus years at the San Siro.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate in the Euro in Coppa Italia to beat them, but that doesn't count because it's not Serie A, it's a separate kind of club thing. Like you can't say that you've won twice in the last 30 years when you're looking solely on Serie A, and our only win was when we don't have him anymore. Joaquin Correa scored the game winner from a beautiful pass from Luis Alberto, which was
Thank
2
you
years
for
ago.
that, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. But without Correa, I'm curious to see who steps up, because he's always been that guy who's been able to score. Other than him, Immobile has been really. He has a good track record against Milan as well. But I like to see how does Toma Basic come into this game. Does he? It's going to be his first game, maybe his first appearance in the Serie A. It's a big transition from Ligue 1 to Serie A. Different style of play, more tactical. You got Zaccagni, who will be introduced this Sunday. I think that's a big boost for Lazio. But it's their back line. Like, I don't know why his team doesn't want to sign David Luiz. Like,
sign Rugani when you had the chance.
no, we don't want no bag of shit. No, thank you. I would take Luiz over Rugani. I don't care what mistakes he made at Arsenal. It's not. I think that a guy like Luiz would have been perfect more, not even for center back. He plays behind Lucas Leiva. The guy has experience playing as a defensive midfielder. I think that he can spot in and really manage Leiva's minutes and give some good experience. Like, he's a free transfer. I just don't know why they don't want him. Unless it's his wages and it's too much, I can understand. But this is the kind of guy who really could have helped in several positions. And you look. So if Luis Felipe doesn't play Sunday, who's your backup? You're relying on Patrick. And no disrespect to Patrick, he is not a center back. He's a right back or a right wing. He's not got the size to defend against Zlatan. Zlatan would destroy him and eat him.
What
Who's
about
who? Dennis Vavro, the guy who came
No.
from the Danish league, who I thought was going to be the best player. I was convinced
what
he was
about
going to be so good.
Marusic? No,
Yeah, he plays on the right side though. You could do
Okay.
that, but they don't want to. They want him to play as a right back,
which
And-
makes sense.
So the problem is now you have Dennis Vavro, who hasn't really made an impression, and we decide to keep him in the lineup. He's the last spot. He's not part of our Europa League team, but like there's a concern here. Like, why is there the red flag where you're not getting David Luiz? Like, this is a big, massive upgrade over Vavro. We spent $10 million for this guy. This is what makes me sick to my stomach. Kaminovic didn't even get registered. Another freaking waste of money. Like, that's why I'll defend Lotito to a degree where we can say all we want that Lotito's cheap, but when you're spending 10 million on Vavro, 10 million on Fadis, and the list
20
keeps
million
on,
on Morici.
I'm not waving the flag on Morici yet. I think that if Sarri has faith in him, I will respect the manager's decision.
Yeah.
Just like he decided to use Raul Maro, 18-year-old, where Simone Inzaghi, this is his biggest flaw. Okay, if you guys want to hear, this is the Simone Inzaghi flaw. The guy doesn't like to play any young players. It's bad. Like, you got Macherano. Give him a shot when the chance comes. If you're up 2-0 in a game, give him 30 minutes, see what he can do. That's where I respect Sarri right now. You're up 6-1, you're up 4-0. He puts in Raul Maro. He puts in 16-year-old Luca Romero. Give these guys a chance. I don't care if they're 18 years old. That's a stupid excuse, okay? These guys need to make a chance to like grow and kind of show what they have. So Raul Maro has looked really good in the first 2 games. Inzaghi never played a guy under 23 years old last year until the final game of the year.
Wow.
Like, we were eliminated from Champions League for 7 games, and we decided to play Marco Parolo and fucking Sena Lulic on one leg. Like, is there something wrong here or what? I think Inzaghi is a great manager, so I'm not going to shit on him. Like, I just think that's one big flaw of him since he was with Lazio. In his early days, when he took over, he was always playing young players. Like,
Well, you know what? You know what probably changed? The pressure of his own success got higher and higher. So he thought, I can't risk young players anymore because this is too important for my job. I think that's probably what changed.
but it's bullshit because he said that Raul Maro wasn't good enough. And so many people were like, oh, yeah, Inzaghi's right. Look at what he does at the Primavera. When you play in the Primavera, it's one thing. When you go play with big boys, your game, you push yourself to another level. Your mind becomes more, okay, I need to beat Ronaldo now. Okay, I need to beat that guy now. Like, your mindset changes in the Serie A compared to the Primavera. You're playing with boys. Now you're playing with men. Like it drives me nuts because Raul Moro has looked so good in the first 2 games. I think he can have a major impact on Sunday. And it's the same like Brahim Diaz, where people probably thought he wasn't that great last year. Sandro Tonali is another one where they thought he wasn't good enough. He's 20 years old. Let's write him off. Let's fucking flush him down the drain. Meanwhile, these 2 players, along with Calabria, have been the best players. I think Diaz has been fantastic for Milan, like best midfielder. I would think. What do you think, Miguel? I'd like to hear what you think on that one. And along with Sandro Tonali, like he needs time. I thought, I'll be honest, I'll call myself out. I thought this guy wasn't going to be good. I thought he was just a brusher kind of thing, sweep him underneath the rug. I was so wrong about him. And for people to say, oh, I still need more time to be bought on it. That first 2 games this season
are really good.
You got to have a clear indication. Don't be blindsided because it's Milan and this banter fucking team shit. Like, be open-minded and see what they are. Like,
yeah, my thoughts on that with the Brahim Diaz thing. When he first came to Milan, I always said that he was the one to watch for Milan because I've seen the quality that he has. His issue when he first came into Serie A was he would dribble a lot and he wouldn't pick his head up, so he wouldn't see an open pass. But he adapted to that. He kind of got stronger. He was getting bullied off the ball a lot because, in La Liga, it's not really about physicality. So he bulked up and he kind of learned how to play in the Serie A, and he's been great so far. And I always trusted in him. The thing with Sandro Tonali, I've been saying this for quite some time. If you've watched my YouTube videos, I say this all the time. Sandro Tonali is so young. He's only 20 years old. And the guy came from Brescia, where the Brescia team was facilitated around him. And he was playing in a 4-3-3. He was playing as the attacking midfielder. Now he's playing in a double pivot. He has to be a defensive midfielder. His literal job is to win back the ball and push it up the field. That's it. That's totally different from someone who's facilitating the attack. And for a 20-year-old kid, that's a lot of pressure on you. And it's not the same. People are like, oh, well, Benacer. Like, Benacer literally had an entire season of consecutive starts before he found his feet. If you guys remember, when Benacer was first starting for Milan, he was getting constant yellow cards every game. He had like 14 yellow cards in half of the season. And then he adapted. Same thing with Tonali. He just needed time to adapt. And now that he's adapted, I think that he's going to be a real weapon for the season for us.
That's well said. I want to finish going around the table. Predictions on Milan, Lazio. We just got one from Gerald who's going, man, I kind of hope it's not 0-0. I want to see some goals. Honestly, I'm leaning to Milan in this one, and a lot of it does have to do with being the home side, 50% capacity. I'm going to give them the edge there. I'm going to say a 2-1 for Milan. Mass, I'll go to you next. What are you expecting, Milan, Lazio?
I'm going 2-0 Milan. I think it's they're at home. Fans are there. I think they'll be all right. And all the, like I said, I don't think they don't lose many people due to the international break, right? Milan,
right.
The South Americans. I don't think neither does Lazio, but I favor Milan in this one.
I'll go to you next, Anthony. What do you think, Milan?
What did you say there, Mass? We don't do well after the break?
No, that you didn't lose too many guys like South Americans in the international
South Americans
break.
caused problems with the international break.
And not being back in time.
Oh, are they delayed to come back?
I think they're going to be delayed to get cleared. Like from my understanding, I'm not expecting for Inter to see Lautaro or Correa. They're not going to be available until the following match, until probably Real Madrid Champions League.
I know that our record after the international break is absurd. It's really bad. Like, we suck after the international break. That's all I know.
So let's go next to Anthony. Your prediction for Milan Lazio.
Yeah, good points all around. I think it's in Sarri's and Lazio's best interest to keep this game tight, compact, gritty as much as possible. You're not going to score 4 goals. You're not going to score 6 goals. You're not going to get chances to lose the ball and then backtrack and count on, an Empoli side to not score, which, even though Empoli have showed some flashes of good football, you can almost bank more likely than not they won't. Same goes for the first opponent that they have played. This Milan team is quite well oiled mentally, even if on paper, I still think they lack the depth that clubs like Inter and even Juventus to an extent have. But as long as their starters stay fit, I think that Milan can grind this one out. I'll go for 2-1, and I'm expecting Tonali to have another good game. Good points all around on Tonali. He's going to have a breakthrough season this season. I think Brahim Diaz really has something to prove, as most people who dream of playing for Real Madrid usually do when they don't make the cut at a club like Real Madrid. You get sent out, you prove you're good enough, and hey, eventually you go back there and they sell you for 60 million euros anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Lucci, I'll give you the last word on Milan Lazio. How do you see it?
I'm gonna give a 2-0 to Milan. I'm sorry, Jared. Mr. Sarri, watching him for a year at Juve, he doesn't know how to play gritty. He doesn't know how to get his boys into the dirty areas of the pitch. He's all about, quick passes and hit them on the counter kind of thing. So I just think Milan is they're well organized, well oiled machine, as Ant mentioned. I think they'll be able to take out a win in this one.
Let's go through 2 more matches.
But here's the thing with Lazio. I don't even know what to expect, because the first game, I'll be honest, the first game, the back end was destroyed by Empoli. Okay, like it was so the line was so bad shape. Cherby, oh my god, all over the place. I think that his time's done. Like he's already peaked before he can get to 34. But
he peaked a long time ago.
But it's scary, because then after they play Spezia and they look day and night where they looked more compact and making passes. So I don't know what to expect. And the thing is that we're nowhere near Sarri ball. Yeah. But they looked really composed against Spezia, very controlled, very relaxed. There wasn't any really weaknesses in the back end. But you look at Empoli and it's like, what? So I don't know what to expect against Milan.
Yeah, but now you're playing real,
no, you're right.
competition. Yeah.
But again, you look at both sides. I just don't know what kind of does Lazio play to their competition, and do they sit back and play more defensive compared to moving the ball? And Sarri knows that if he tries to play his style of play, does it open up Lazio and it gives Milan an advantage? You know what I mean? I'm curious to see the approach that Sarri takes into this game, knowing where Milan is, because he's not a stupid manager. He knows that this is going to be a step up compared to Spezia, Empoli. Does he take a different approach?
But no, Sarri never changes. He's very one-dimensional. He's always plan A.
We'll see.
You saw at Napoli and Juve, he was the same.
Yeah.
Sounds like Inzaghi. Plan A, no plan B. I'm serious. Never had a.
Sounds like Antonio Conte and every other coach.
You're right. A lot of Italian managers don't have a plan B.
You want flexibility, man. You want flexibility. You have to go overseas for a manager, man. Honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Allegri is one of the few that has shown plan Bs and Cs over the years. I can't think of very many others. It's usually one formation, one pattern, and there's no plan B. And by the way, I should have mentioned at the top, this is, I think, the 3rd episode we've done where we're simulcasting on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, where I do a lot of shows. And my guy, Ricky J. Mark, who's a good friend of mine on the network, said, wait a minute, we have a Serie A show on the network? Works for me, he added. Yeah, welcome, man. We stream once or twice a week, usually on Mondays, sometimes on Tuesdays.
Ricky Balboa.
Ricky Balboa.
Ricky Williams, Ricky James.
Balboa's name was Rocky, not Ricky, right?
I know. I kind of butchered that after I kind of realized that it was Ricky. I was saying not Rocky, but I kind of butcher a lot of things. Well, what are we going into? Let me take the segue, you piece of.
Well, I wanted to go into, and I don't have a whole lot. Keep in mind, Jerry, I don't have a whole lot of time left, but I want to go into. We can go to that next. I was gonna be nice to Mass and go to Roma Sassuolo next. We can go to Inter.
Who gives a shit about Roma, man?
Mass does, and they're undefeated. They're looking good so far.
They'll crumble at some point. They can't keep this up. There's no way.
This is the
game.
game.
Haven't looked that great so far.
What are you talking about?
They haven't looked good at all. They
haven't.
2 against Hellas Verona and 0-0 against Sampdoria.
I don't know, man. Don't put too much.
As soon as Mourinho has an injury or two, Roma's going right down the toilet.
That's all right. It's already looking scary.
Got a red card. He got a red card in a preseason friendly, man. Mourinho is always going to be Mourinho. I like him. I always love him for what he did at Inter, but I've got my reservations this season too.
Yeah, but his body language and the way he's just been at the team is looking pretty good. He looks like he's having a ball at Roma. It's a different Mourinho that I've seen in recent times. So
I'm just happy to be out of England, bro. Honestly,
honestly, anyone at that point, right? That league's the media. I thought the media in Montreal was bad for hockey, but oh my god, the media for soccer in England is just
it's
another level.
Well, so all right, so hold on. Well, we can do the prediction on Sampdoria Inter first. It is going to be in Genova, and I'll start, and then I'll go to Anthony. We'll go around the rest of the table. I think it's going to be a tough match for Inter because number one, Inter do not tend to have great showings at those lunch matches. It's the 12:30 Italian time. And they always seem to the lights don't really come on until like later in the afternoon. So I can see Inter conceding first. And then the other thing is in likely not having Lautaro or Correa for this game. They're going to do the way that they opened the season, which was fine against Genoa. Going to be a little bit tougher at Samp. Having Dzeko starting up front with Sensi playing behind him. I think Inter are going to grind it out because they are the more talented side at the end of the day. I'm seeing like a 2-1 where they concede first and probably get a couple of goals in the second half. And I'm going to wake up at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday to watch this and probably regret not, waking up later and just watching, from like the 70th minute on. So that's kind of the way that I see it. I did see earlier in the chat, Gerald predicted. Oh wait, no, sorry, that wasn't him. Somebody predicted a 0-0 Inter Sampdoria.
Oh my god, what kind of
Not Biggie said 3-1 Inter.
Oh, Biggie. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I think I was looking at the wrong one. I mean, I'm not far. I'm gonna go 2-1 Inter, but it's gonna be one of these things where it's gonna be like giving birth. Like it's gonna be painful to watch it. I think. Well, what do you think, Anthony? Who do you think comes out on top?
Well, first of all, 6:30 a.m. Spare me your bullshit, sir.
Well, what time is it going to be there? Like 1 in the morning?
I haven't checked yet, so I just always assume it's in between 1 and 3:30 a.m. That way you can't be disappointed when you see the fixture. But this is going to be a really, really tough one. Sampdoria played very well against Milan in their first game. They played well in the second game as well to get a point against Sassuolo, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. They've got Caputo in the background who'll be keen to jump in and score a goal. As you said, Alex, lunchtime kickoff against Sampdoria. Please, man, where's my X times 2 so I can eat some steak and lobster this weekend because I can see this result coming from a mile away. We won't score first in this game, and I'm just talking from experience. It's going to be very tough. Sampdoria are a different fish of kettle to Hellas Verona this season and Genoa this season. It's going to be a grind, but the thing that's saving grace is that our depth, we can get an injection of quality or a goal can come at any given point in time now. And if it's not going to come from the attackers, well, don't worry. We've got 3 pretty big bloody defenders that are just seething at the teeth to get their header into a ball. I'm very confident, even if we don't have Lautaro and Correa, that we go into this game like we do every game this season with an adequate starting 11. That was very important, and that's why Marotta and Ozilio deserve all their praise in the offseason. It sucks losing 2 of your best players. It really does. But when you replace them position for position, the way that we did, and when we look at who we've got on our bench still, I mean, we're bringing on Arturo Vidal with 18 minutes left, for God's sake.
He's actually looking good this year. It's a miracle.
Bro, 18 minutes of Arturo Vidal's physicality and energy compacted into 20 minutes. Please give me a break, man. Midfields in the rest of the league are fearing him every time he comes on. That being said, I'm going to go with 1-1, the classic 1-1, and it won't be the end of the world when we don't get the win, bar what the Inter community will react like.
Well, who do you give the goal to then? Because I'm going to go, if I'm going to stick to my 2-1 Inter, I'm going to give a goal to Dzeko, and I'm going to give a goal to Brozovic. He had a patented outside the box strike for Croatia this week. When he starts to get into a groove, I think he's going to have a big one from outside the box.
Trademark Brozovic goal, that one, man. And he's overdue for a good performance in midfield because I'd say that out of all our starting 11, he might have been the one that put in a couple of subpar performances in the first 2 games. But I like Dzeko to get the goal, mate. So 1-1 for me. If Inter can come away and grind out a win away from home in this fixture, then I'll start to look at the season and go, all right, we might just have something here.
All right, let's go around the table. Miguel, AJ, what do you think about the Inter traveling to take on Sampdoria? Your prediction for that one?
I think this is going to be a difficult one for Inter. Sampdoria did play well against Milan. I think that Omar Kali and at the back, they're going to be aggressive. But I do think that Inter has that extra depth of quality that can happen. I think that they can manage to get a late goal from a corner kick from somebody, and they can sneak away the 1-0 victory from Sampdoria. They definitely are a different team, especially losing Claudio Ranieri and having a new manager, but they just don't have the tools quite yet. They gave Sassuolo some problems, but they still need some fine-tuning. If Inter can ultimately just play their game and stay patient and wait for a goal to come and not force it, they can come away with a 1-0 victory.
Well said, Jerry. I'll go to you next. Your prediction for sorry, I just had like a coughing fit back here, so I'll give the floor to Jerry. Sampdoria Inter, your prediction.
Is Matriano still in the squad, or did you guys loan him out?
No, Satriano's still in the squad. He'll probably come off. I think he'll get in off the bench at some point.
If he does not play on Sunday, then the guy should have been loaned out. That's all I can say.
He did have a cameo in the opener, but that was not a close game. So
yeah, I'm just saying if he doesn't get a chance this Sunday, for me, they should have just loaned him out, send him away, fucking play wherever you want to play. Because when you don't have Correa or Lautaro in the lineup, there's no excuse why this guy shouldn't be getting a chance to play 15 minutes at least off the bench, whatever, man. Like,
and they don't have Alexis available either for this game. So I'm almost positive he's going to play
something, man. That would be so stupid. I will go. Sampdoria plays Inter very well. I think they were the only team to beat them in the first half last season for like a long stretch.
Well, them and Milan, were the only in the first half both beat them. Yeah,
they played really well against them. In the second half, it was just a needless game where they lost, I think 5-1 or something in the last game of the season. But I will go 2-1 Inter. I think they're going to grind it out. I think they're going to figure a way to win this game. It won't be easy. I know a lot of people don't rate Roberto De Versa that highly. I like him. I think he's a good manager. Good replace. He's not probably Ranieri type style strategic, but what he was able to do with Parma and bring them up from Serie C to Serie A, keep him up there, and then they fired him for no reason.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Stupidest move they ever did. Came back at the worst time. Didn't have enough time to keep him up. I think that with Sampdoria, he has a lot of options to keep this really a very intense match. I wouldn't be surprised if they won it. I don't want to be that kind of guy where, oh yeah, you said both sides. I'll stick with Inter because Inzaghi always figures out a way to win matches. But I'll go 2-1 Inter in this match.
I'll go to Lucci next. And by the way, according to Adriano, it's a dead heat now. Can you verify that, Luch, that it's 50-50? The chin pull.
Mass is following it closely.
Yeah, hold on. I got it open here. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up.
I do think while we're waiting for that.
You're at 51-48 at one point.
Wow.
It's tight.
Yeah, that's not even mathematically possible. 51-48? Like what kind of shenanigans are happening here?
It was like 51 point something to 48.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we had decimals in there. Okay.
Yeah, there's decimals. So I'm seeing here it's 50.9% to Lucci, 49.1 to Phil.
Tight.
When does this poll close?
18 hours left. 216 votes in. Wow, it's a hefty number.
So this is gonna be decided by like the Asian voters when they wake up because they're probably asleep now.
I got a lot of them too.
Yeah, so right now because all the Europeans have voted and they're in bed by now. The North Americans have probably cast their votes by now. I think Asia is going to decide this thing.
We're international
down to the wire.
Yeah.
Lucci's in the background preparing all his posters.
You guys are playing Baptist Thunder here. Can you tell us who you think is going to win Inter versus?
Oh yeah, I think Inter's going to grind it out 2-1. I can see my boy Sensi burying one, maybe a late winner. That's my prediction.
I would love that. I would love a return to serious form for Sensi. Mass
prediction.
Yeah, I'm going to give Mass the last word on Sampdoria Inter, and then we'll start with Mass on Roma Sassuolo.
Yeah, I got a question for him actually.
I'm seeing a 1-0 to Inter, and it's going to be a late game winner, and it's probably going to be Dzeko just for all the times I badmouthed them all of last year. So just to really fire me up on a Sunday morning.
I got a question for Mass now. Never mind, Alex. Get out of here. Your Inter bullshit. But I'm just joking. But how does Roma enter their match on Sunday on the assumption now? You know that Pellegrini may not be fit to play Sunday.
Yeah.
Enya may not be fit to play Sunday. Mancini most likely out. Like how does Roma approach this? Because this is I think Roma has the worst luck in the league.
There's more. I'd seen rumors during the week that Abraham took a knock during training.
Your training grounds cursed.
We're cursed. It's insane.
The training grounds cursed, not the team.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. We
training
got to
grounds.
move from
Big time.
Trigoria. We need to train somewhere else. Get away from Trigoria. Start fresh somewhere else. It's been bad news. No, but Viña, apparently it wasn't as serious as they thought it would be. But we might lose him because of what's been happening with the South Americans being able to be cleared to play in Serie A. So for all I know, we're probably going to be starting Calafiori in Viña's spot. Pellegrini, hopefully it's nothing serious. It was more precautionary that he left the Italian team, so we'll see. So it's not the jury's not out there. I don't know what the extent of Abraham's injury is. Apparently he took a knock during training, but I haven't seen anything since.
The wheels are
And
falling
Mancini-
off already.
I'm telling you, it's a snowball effect. One guy goes down, and then it's like
It's weird. Like Roma is
compounds.
Roma is the only place where injuries are contagious somehow. Like
It's
weird.
insane.
I just want to know
crazy.
how does Roma approach against the Sassuolo side, where I've heard that they haven't been that bad to start the season. I haven't watched them, so I can't really. That's one team
They
I
won
really.
3-2 against Hellas Verona. I didn't watch it, but they struggled against Sampdoria, and it was a 0-0 0-0 draw. Who's their coach now? Is it Italiano?
No, it's the guy from Empoli, the guy who Dionisi from Empoli, the guy who promoted to Empoli, and he went to Sassuolo. So I don't know what to expect. I'm just curious. Does
I really know
change it up?
because I didn't really watch a lot of Sassuolo, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But Roma right now, I mean, if the injuries are as bad as are more on leaning on the players not starting, I think we should be all right. I mean, we got some guys in the Primavera that could kind of step up that we saw last year in the mid. So if we lose maybe Pellegrini or he comes in later, we probably go Veretout, Cristante, Diawara. I don't want to see Diawara. I would rather see what's his name? Not Bove. There's another guy. Darboe. I'd rather see Darboe.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Darboe apparently. There's Bove and Darboe. I'd rather see Darboe start ahead of Diawara. Maybe it's gonna be tough. I don't know, but I see Mourinho has a lot of the youth on the bench too, so he's probably gonna find a way to kind of incorporate them in there. I don't know what our backline's gonna be like. Smalling just got back to training, I think, so he's not 100% fit, and I don't know what the story is with Maxi Kumbula.
That backline's a joke.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I'm actually like thinking about it with all this injury info. I was gonna pick Roma to win the match, but I don't know. I may be thinking like a 1-1 or a 2-2. Now it's gonna be. Well, what do you think, Mass? What's your score prediction?
I think we win. I wouldn't put it. I don't think we lose, but we might not walk out with all 3 points. At best, it's a draw, but I don't see us losing this game.
Yeah, I don't see him losing either. I'm going to go with a 1-1. We'll go around the table. Lucci, I'll go to you next. What do you think? Roma hosting Sassuolo.
Yeah, I think Sassuolo might give them some trouble defensively, but Roma will end up with the win. I could see it like 3-1 or 2-1 or something like that. Just Roma will be able to score. Sassuolo's a little weak at the back.
Jerry, what do you think?
I'll go 1-1. I haven't watched Roma. Actually, I watched them against Fiorentina.
They've actually been really fun to watch.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you,
I didn't watch.
They've been really enjoyable.
I didn't watch the Salernitana game. I heard they played out lights out. Like
I watched that game. It was pretty impressive.
A little slow to start because Salernitana really just like hung back, and then once we got the first goal in, it was just gates open. They were just running wild.
I'll go 1-1. I haven't watched enough of Sassuolo to know what's going to happen here.
Too many people left Sassuolo for them to be
able to be
troublesome.
Yeah.
So I know, but with football, when you're missing 4 guys, it ruins the chemistry. It ruins the sync, especially a team like Roma who's really clicking on all gears, and like there's gonna be a lot of adjustments. So I'm curious to see how they adapt after the break. Who's healthy, who's not? Like Veretout. If Veretout is healthy,
he's fine, and he actually got his call up with the French national team finally. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So I'll go 1-1. I don't even know about this game. This is a game I wouldn't want to bet on because it smells like a little.
I'm probably going to end up betting on it, even though I shouldn't. Let me go to and by the way, if you want to place some wagers, use betus.com. Miguel, I'll go to you next, sir. What do you see happening in this match?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Roma 2-1, even though it looks like it's gonna be a difficult game. Depending on who's out and who's in, I still think that Roma can kind of do the job. Yes, Sassuolo can give them some trouble, but I just don't think Sassuolo has the confidence that's needed going into a game like this.
Well said. Anthony, I'll give you the last word, sir. Roma, Sassuolo.
Yeah, probably toughest game of the match day to pick. Even tougher than Napoli Juve for me. I don't know what version of Roma is going to turn up for this one. Good points regarding Sassuolo losing maybe one too many players to keep that trend going from last season. I think De Zerbi is obviously their biggest loss because that's where you lose a lot of your identity and familiarity. I think that's where Roma can break them down. I think because Sassuolo still play a similar brand of football they played last season with not as much execution or fluidity. I think Roma should be able to get them on the break, on the counter. I'm going to go for a very sneaky, horrendous 2-1 win that just smells like Mourinho from here all the way to London.
Well, I want to give everyone a chance on the way out to promote everything we're doing. We'll start with Anthony, who's got the hot mic there. Of course, doing a lot of good stuff at Inter Worldwide. Where can they find you and your crew?
Me and the crew, Inter Worldwide, YouTube, socials, podcast. Also just moved into a new platform called Football Worldwide, where I very unbiasedly discuss Italian football. If you're going to tune into Inter Worldwide, it's usually biasedly geared towards Inter. But thanks for having me again. It was great to be a part of a very, very good channel today, and I can't wait to do it again. Cheers, boys.
No, great having you. And we'll go from one side of Milano to the other. Miguel, AJ, a.k.a. Milano Miguel, where can people find all your stuff?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, Miguel AJ29. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do weekly vlogs on the Milan games, and that's Milano Miguel on YouTube.
And he does a great job, man. Totally. Even though if I'm watching Milanisti content, he's doing a good job because I watch his stuff and I listen to our guys on the Milan Weekly Pod. So if you've got an Interista like myself actually taking the time to listen to and watch Milanisti stuff, these guys are doing an excellent job. Mas Riccio, our good pal, my good pal from north of the border. Where can people find your stuff, man?
You can find me at Mas148 on Twitter and at mas.riccio on IG for all things Roma and pro Serie A propaganda on the socials.
Brian Cristante fan page.
Oh yeah, the unofficial founder of the Brian Cristante fan club.
Love it. And Lucci, you're doing a lot of stuff audio wise. So now I even though I do watch some Milan stuff, I have a hard time absorbing Juventus content. So I will let you promote.
That's fair. Yeah. I've been trying to get into some spaces on Twitter, maybe once a week. Been trying to keep an eye out for that. All Juve cast in the comments here. We have a great group of guys. If you want to tune in and listen, talk some Juve. We also talk about Azzurri, any Serie A. But for some of the best Juve content, follow us at All Juve Cast. Watch our YouTubes. Live pods, everything, and do some writing on the side too when I get some extra time. So keep an eye out for that and follow me right here. There you go, Daniele Luch. And
vote, by the way, because you have if our friends from Asia are waking up now, I'm not sure what time it is there, but I know it's way different. Then you need to vote on Jerry's Twitter poll. Who's got the better jawline?
It's probably about 9 a.m. over there.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Vote for Lucci. Vote for the divine jaw, Jerry. Of course,
the divine jaw.
The divine jawline.
The divine jawline.
We got to credit Nando for that one. I think
it was Nando.
Yes, good show, Nando. That piece of shit.
What about you, Jerry? Where can people find all your work? I know you've been writing like a crazy man.
I have, but I haven't released anything because I've been just writing like 30 articles and I keep them in the backlog.
Why release them? Like, what are you writing them for then?
I don't know. It's fun to write and that's it, man.
No, it's
like,
not.
I don't know. It keeps my mind off of shit. Try
fair enough.
off Twitter, man.
Fair enough.
Can't wait. Like life's normal. I no longer and so consistent on Twitter. Before the pandemic, I never gave a shit about Twitter as much as I did after during the pandemic. it's really bad. I got so addicted to it that I don't know how to stay off and just not be stuck to it. J Mancini 8 is where you can find me. I have a few pieces coming out for the Laziale, one for Italian Football News, a few interviews, did a piece on Giroud. So, guys, I am not biased. I don't just write Lazio and Inter. I like to write about Milan and Napoli when I can. I've only written one piece ever about Juventus in Roma. I got shredded about the Roma. It was probably the worst thing I ever did in my life because people thought I was a Lazio traitor. Fucking dumb. But anyways, I guess writing is against the law to write about Roma.
Because people don't understand, like, journalism, that just because you see an article written about a team doesn't mean the person who wrote it is necessarily a fan of that team. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand.
I don't get it either. There's a few things that I would love to write about Tammy Abraham for Roma because I think that
He's been insane.
Well, just like you write it, you write it and then send it to like Lucci and let Lucci post it so that you can be the ghostwriter.
Yeah. Well, my wife's the ghostwriter for me because she does all the editing. So that's why it takes a while for me to release my articles as well. So other than that, and I did an interview today with what's it called actually? I don't want to disrespect.
Oh yeah, because I think that's a new show, right? So if you can find it, let people know, and we should get these guys on our pod sometime.
I joined 3 Men in Milan podcast today, and 3 guys in the UK, and they were fantastic people who had me on, and basically did a match preview for Milan versus Lazio. Did not shit talk. I didn't say one bad word either. When it's my pod, I swear I don't care really. I told them straight up, any pod I go on, I don't swear. It's not right. It's disrespectful because it's like me going into your house and I have to respect what you are. I respect your house, basically. Like I don't come in and trash it. So when I go on your pod, it's like your house where you have your certain rules. It's you want. Don't treat it like you would treat your own stuff. Like have kind of like some humility, some respect for other people. That if you like to swear on your pod, that's one thing. But there are other people who don't appreciate that. So just keep an open mind on that. Like I'm one person with our pod, but that's not who I am for other pods. That's just not how I work. If I go on a space with Lucci, I don't tell him to go F himself. It's just not right.
You only do that in private most of the time.
Only
it's
on
not
the side.
right though, man. Like if I go on Joe's podcast, you also have to remember these guys have podcasts that are censored, so they have it at a setting where swearing's not allowed. So
it's true. Although I've noticed a lot of people violate that rule, and it annoys me because sometimes you'll have somebody whose pod on iTunes says clean, and then I listen to it and they're cursing up a storm, and I'm like, dude, like I labeled this one explicit because I know that I sometimes can't control myself. Jerry can never control himself on this show, on his own show. So like I wonder if like if being labeled explicit like will change the algorithm so we don't like show up in people's recommendations or something. But I'm just being honest because I know we're gonna fucking curse on the show from time to time. So I wanted to be honest about it. But yeah, definitely check out Jerry's work and check out my stuff as well. At Alex Donno on Twitter is where you can find me. And I know that some of you are watching this on the Calcio Connection YouTube page. Some are watching it on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube page. I'll let both sets of viewers know that I do a daily stream talking American sports, primarily South Florida sports, which may interest some of you and not interest some of you. But I do that on the 5 Reasons Sports Network at 12 noon every day. So, yeah, huge shout out, of course, to Jerry, to Lucci, to Mass, and to Miguel for taking time out of their evenings, and a huge shout out to everyone who cut it up with us in the live chat. And if whether you're watching it live or you watch back later, make sure on YouTube you smash that like button, you hit that thumbs up button. That really helps us out because that makes more people aware of the video. We finesse that YouTube algorithm that way. So we will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.
Fuck the NFL, the worst freaking sport ever, man. Terrible. God damn it.
We're still alive, I think. Hey, guys.
It's okay. Don't worry. NFL sucks. Roma sucks. Roma sucks. Roma sucks. Roma can lick my balls.